Okay, so Indigenous artist Ursula Johnson challenges stereotypes in her fashion shoots. So this is sort of approaching the idea of like the psychology of consumerism and the exoticized body of the Indigenous female person, and also the stereotypes associated with that. So she basically contrasts previous stereotypical comments that have been overheard by her artist friends across like images of her body in these indigenous fashion, like I guess appropriation fashion, so that are for consumption purposes. So maybe a thesis about this would be something a little more confrontational, maybe along the lines of like Western consumption of indigenous bodies and how it's seen, like generally found in that like microaggression form in fashion appropriation. But when you actually look at the impact of the global fashion industry and how it affects indigenous people around the world, it makes like a massive impact. And these are images that have their own like mode of transportation through bodies. So these are stereotypes that never, like, they don't do anything but harm indigenous people. And I think, yeah, I think it was really interesting to sort of think about that and how that's done like so carelessly. So, and she talked about the impossibility of Pocahontas when represented, like especially in the Disney form. And I think that also speaks to the impossibility of these consumption-based like fashion stores to accurately represent or like even care to represent indigenous people, like with any form of like accuracy or responsibility or ethics. So she takes photos of herself in these pieces and she asks for a response from other artists, and it's basically the idea of consuming the female indigenous body, and she talks about the problematic aspects of this and the lack of critical conversation around it, especially like when it comes to the missing and murdered indigenous women. And if you really think about it, like also how these images contribute to the sexualization of the female indigenous body, so, and how it's just done without regard, like it's a form of colonialism in itself. So it's really important work. I think that this video and the explanation, although it's like it's clear to me when I'm really thinking about it, I think that maybe for non-indigenous people it might not be as clear, or like they might not understand exactly how this connects to everything else. So because I don't think it's normally even thought about by non-indigenous people. So I think that, for instance, she could have talked about maybe the global impact of the fashion industry on indigenous people around the world, or yeah, like just go into those sort of aspects of it a little bit more, just so it was really clear. But yeah, but this is a massive issue, and it's not sparking a critical enough conversation. So and I think a lot of like women and even children are swept up in the fashion industry all around the world, mostly indigenous women. So I think that the True Cost was a great movie that would kind of explain how these people are, like how different people around the world are impacted by that. So yeah.